bringing you the latest news from Coronado Athletics. This is the Mustang Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. I'm Randy Rosetta, and we're going to talk Mustang basketball. I keep mentioning last night how busy it was. I want to run through a couple of those scores real quick before we jump in. I mentioned the game I covered was incredible. Estacado and Liberty in District 5 4A, a very rare top 10 boys matchup with two Lubbock teams. And, man, those two teams, they filled the bill because it was back and forth, very intense environment. Estacado scored 4 points in the last 11 and a half seconds to win 73-71. Let me start at the top here, though. We'll start with boys since we're talking boys right now. We'll get girls when Trent Hilliard gets in here. Let's see. I'll start with Coronado beat Lubbock High 56-47. Monterey beat Lubbock Cooper 66-59. I mentioned the Estacado Liberty game. Memorial got a nice win, beat Levelland 64-46. Midland Christian beat Trinity Christian in a matchup in TAPS 1-5A of a couple highly ranked teams. Those two teams have met twice, once in the Caprock and then once last night. They split those two. In TAPS 1-2A, All Saints lost to Ascension Academy. Southcrest Christian, which is a team that's got a chance to be really good, JD Champion's crew, they beat Midland Holy Cross 58-18. And I guess this would be the last team game between two city teams from the night. Christ the King beat Kingdom Prep 53-50. Only other game, Lubbock Christian went down to Seminole, got beat 68-58. That's a really good Seminole team. Joined by Lee Scott from Coronado. I know you guys played a beefed-up schedule. You talked to my guy from HubCPreps.com about that last night. Seminole, were they on your schedule this week or this year?
They were not. We did play them in spring league or in fall league before, but you've
seen them for a few years when you were at Snyder.
Oh yes, that Seminole's known for basketball. They're always good, and so it's always a good team to play.
You look at the coaching lineage there. The guy that's there now, Paul Page, Greg Clark. They've had some guys that get the best out of their.
Yeah, they've had some guys there that knew what it meant to be playing or coaching there, and to make sure that they maintained it. So,
well, you're in year 2 at Coronado, and I think you figured that out pretty quick there. That we were just talking to Kevon Hargrove about the history and tradition that they've got at Coronado going back before Randy Dean, but Randy Dean kind of elevated that when he was there. You guys are a work in progress. Lubbock High, we were talking about them kind of working towards where you guys are right now, but you've won 2 district games in a row. I don't know if you're a fan of the Major League movies, but Lou Brown very famously said, when you win 2 games, that's a winning streak.
Yes, that's what one of our football coaches told me today. They said that something about winning. I said, yeah, we won 2. He goes, that's what we call a winning streak.
There you go. What have you guys done better in these 2 district games? Now, in between, you went 0-4 at the Caprock, but I looked at who you played. You guys, that was not a light schedule. You played some teams that are doing some things, but in your 2 district games, what have you done better?
I think we've played harder is the main thing. We've been sticking to our guns of doing what we're supposed to do. We changed a little bit of defense up against Caprock. We played some man and some zone against those guys. But then last night, I think that was the first time where we really put in 4 quarters together of playing hard, taking care of the ball for the most part, executing on the offensive end. And so that's basically what it boils down to for those 2. We didn't sit there, and we also started off hot. A lot of our games this year, we get down 9-0, 10-0, 11-0, and then we decide it's time to play. And against Lubbock High last night, we were up 17-3 at the end of the first, and that was the first time we actually came out ready to play, I think, and that's probably our main difference.
And who's the free throw coach?
I'll take credit for it.
Could you shoot some free throws back in your day?
I was pretty good, above 85%.
Because what you guys did last night, now I don't know that I've ever seen a high school team that many. Now high school team may finish 9 of 9 or 10 of 10. You guys were 23 out of 24. To me, free throws become a little bit. I'll use another sports movie phrase. Shooting free throws is contagious.
Yes.
Guys see a guy putting the ball through the net, they step up and like, I got to keep doing this.
Right. Well, against Caprock, we were 20 out of 34. And so that's the other 2 things. We've been getting to the free throw line.
Yep.
And, only missing 1, which I thought we missed 2, so 1 sounds way better. But
there you go.
When you see the first people start making them, now you go up there with confidence saying, hey, they're making them, I can make them too. And, you see one shot fall, now the next shot falls. You see another shot fall, now the next shot falls. And that was kind of our big deal last night is they stepped up with confidence and made them.
Must be getting a lot of trouble. Why don't you have JT Toppin swing by and see if you can't get him going? That's the one thing that young man, he's an incredible player. Got to get better at the free throw line, JT Toppin. I'm not going to try to coach Grant McCaslin. That's going to bring us to the first break. We'll come back after this, talk more Mustang basketball in the High School Fan Zone.
Diving headfirst into Coronado athletics. You're listening to the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score on the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on a Wednesday night. I'm Randy Rosetta. We're with Lee Scott, second-year Coronado boys basketball coach. Won their second district game in a row. Improves them to 4-16 right now, which doesn't sound great, but there's still a lot of season left. I think one of your quotes from my guys that covered the game, you said that you want to start getting better now because this is where you want to get better. 2-3 in district. That's the key thing. You got to in your district. You got to tread water as long as you can because those four teams above you, 3, 4, 5, depending on if Lubbock Cooper gets it going a little bit again. You got to make sure you're chipping away and climbing up that ladder.
Right, yeah. Having a 9-team district is tough in itself, and then when you have the teams that are in our district, it makes it even 10 times tougher. And that's what I told your guy last night. Like, I don't really care about my overall record. My overall record is not very good. But if you go back and see, my record at Snyder when we got it going, you look at the district record, and I think, it changes. Like it's completely flipped. And that's what I was telling last night is, I got to prepare for my district season. And so we have to play tough teams at the beginning to get us prepared. And, some guys like to go and play teams that they know they can win and have a good record. And, that might build some confidence for those guys and help them down the road. But I'm a big believer in we're going to play tough teams because we have to beat the toughest teams in our district that are also some of the toughest teams in the state. We have 2 teams that were ranked in the top 20.
I just looked at that.
And now I don't know. Tascosa, I'm sure, has moved up. But, Amarillo was ranked to start the season. Paladuro was ranked to start the season. So I'm sure Tascosa has stepped up, and possibly even Monterey.
Yeah, you've got a gauntlet coming in front of you right now.
So, that's what we have to do to prepare for these type of teams. We have to play the tough teams. Like I picked Fort Worth Dunbar for the Caprock because I was like, I know they're going to pressure us. I know they're going to play us hard. That's what we have to do to be able to prepare for the teams, and so that's my big deal is it might look bad, but my overall record, I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about getting the kids better and seeing what we can do in district.
And to me, now kids are kids. They like to win. Don't get me wrong about that. But also being in games like that game last night between Estacado and Liberty. That kind of game's one that those kids are going to talk about years from now. You want them to be in like you play Tascosa this week, and then you play Monterey next Tuesday. Those records won't matter.
Right.
Monterey and Coronado get together. It's just a game that kids are going to remember because those are guys they grew up with. I mentioned the gauntlet. You just played. I'm sorry. You just beat Lubbock High. You go and play. Or Tascosa comes here. Tascosa is not ranked, but I've seen Tascosa play. They're really good. Mm-hmm. And then Amarillo High is 22nd in the TABC rankings. Paladuro is 23rd. Monterey's not there, but they've got a team that looks like a ranked team. The way when they play well, they got through Caprock, I think, with 5 games and were pretty exhausted by the time they went up to Amarillo High. But your guys are going to get better because they're going to play really good teams those next 3.
Right. Yeah, playing those 3 teams coming up is only going to make us better, and so hopefully we can steal some of those wins. Just depending on how we play. If we come out and play hard, then we can, and just building confidence for that second round of district. I think we let a few games slip away early on in district that we'll get to play those teams again, and some of them at home. So I think that's going to help out and just use these games to teach us to get better. We've been telling our kids all year long that there's not many people that believe in us except for us. And I think we've proved it, the last 2 games, what we can do of playing hard and getting after it and helping and getting the wins that we build off of that and compete and battle and see what happens.
I saw you guys early on. I'm trying to think when that was. I can't remember. Maybe
Memorial.
Memorial,
you were
yes.
at that game?
You guys are – there's several teams in town this year that I hate to say you start from scratch because kids have earned the way to get up to varsity, but you, Friendship, and even Estacado, when you looked around after last season and started thinking, man, I'm not going to have a lot of these guys back.
Right.
That's invigorating as a coach, and it's also like, well, I'm going to have to strap my big boy pants on and get these guys ready. But the guys have to also understand that they've got to start understanding they've got to get better step by step.
Right, and that's the thing. We only had 3 guys coming back from varsity last year, with one coming at the middle of the year, and then the other 2 played, but they were reserves, came off the bench, and so we didn't have a lot of scoring coming back this year. I think Matt, when he played, I think he ended up averaging 8 or 9 points a game, and that was basically it, really and truly. So we lost 46 points from our team last year, and so that we had to get guys that have never played varsity to get in a rhythm and get going. And
there's a difference.
And there is a huge difference. And we have one kid got hurt that Memorial game December 2nd, and he might be able to play this week. But he was a guy that we were relying on that we thought would be a scorer for us, and so that's been a guy we've been missing with Dre Goodrich, and so hopefully getting him back for Friday will also help with the ball handling as well. So that's just something that some guys had to take on new roles that they've never had to take on before, and so it has taken us a while to get there. But we have, I think, 11 games left, 12 games left. And they're the ones that matter. So if we take care of business, then we'll be just fine.
The difference between Paul Page he knows that I've covered enough of their games this year. They only had one guy back, but it happened to be Hayden Wilson, who's played for with really good teams. WAG had one guy back who played a lot, but that's also Shakur Wilbon, who's probably going to go play college ball somewhere. You guys didn't. Now, Matthew Madrill, let me go back and say this. Watching him last year and then talking to my guy last night, that's one of my funnest. He's one of the funnest guys to watch because he has no cares in the world when he goes out there. He just goes out and plays, and because he's not the biggest kid. He's probably not the fastest kid, but, man, that kid loves playing basketball.
Yeah, he does. And when he gets his mind focused on it and, sits there and says, this is what I'm going to do, then he's pretty dang good. And so that's what we've been working on, making sure he's doing that all year long. And last night, he was there ready to go. He played hard. He played defense. He played, found the open guy, took care of the ball when he needed to, guarded their Lubbock High's best guards when we needed them to, and knocked down shots. And that's, when he's focused and ready to go, then he's really fun to watch. And he's fun to coach when he's that way, too.
You saw Lubbock High last night. You'll see them again. We'll talk more about that next time you come on. That's a team that's going to beat some people for the season, and Jose's done a really good job with them. So that wraps us up in the Mustang Fan Zone. We'll be back after this break in the Tiger Fan Zone with Trent Hilliard. I'm Randy Rosetta.